Hey, welcome back to Garden Rose. It is the end of May and there's a lot growing in the garden, so I'm going to take you along for my very first garden tour of the year. I don't know if I just completely forgot everything last year or if I'm kind of ahead of where I was at this time last year. A reason I do these videos is because I love seeing the progression of how things are growing, and like at the end of the summer, it's like, oh yeah, I grew a garden, I got these things from it. But in the middle of it, like right now, especially in the beginning, I'm like, wow, everything is growing so fast. And I don't know if it's just me or if it really is growing fast. So I'll have to check out last year's video around May to see how this compares, but I'm very excited about what's going on here. So let's dive right into it. You might notice right off the bat that we finally have some pathways. We've got wood chips down, and this is just the first layer because we still have to stain the sides of the beds pretty soon, probably today. So this is just the kind of foundation level, and then we'll put we've got a whole pile over there that we can put down. So this will be raised even more, but I think it just looks so awesome with these paths now, and it's pretty nice to walk on. It keeps it nice and even. I don't have to worry about getting my husband out here to weed whack in between, so he's loving it. But yeah, it's working pretty good. It looks nice. All right, so it always feels natural to start with this bed first, and it is one of my favorite ones because I've got all my garlic here, which look, we've got scapes that are starting to curve like that, so they'll be ready to harvest pretty soon. You just pull the scape out because these are all hardneck varieties, so you'll pull the scape out, and then after that, I think about 5 weeks or so to harvest. So you can see the scape really nicely on that one. So yeah, once you pull that scape, it really focuses on like the bulb development, so that'll kind of signal to them to keep growing the bulbs and separate the cloves and all that. And they'll be ready to harvest in about 4 or 5 weeks after I pull the scape. Some of them aren't really ready to pull yet. Like when they don't have the curve, you don't want to harvest them yet. So some of them will have to wait a little bit longer, but some of them might be ready sooner. Then I have a row of radishes, and we had a crazy weather. I mean, it's been raining a lot, which has been nice, but it also has gotten like really hot and then really cold and then really hot. So these are already like bolting and going to seed. But these are a newer radish that I tried this year. They're like a bigger, like giant radish, and they are spicy. I actually don't even, oh, there's a good one. Let me go to the other side. There's a good one right there. So you can see it's pretty big. But yeah, they're very spicy. They're almost too spicy for me to eat, so my husband has been snacking on those. And then some carrots. I finally got some carrots to start growing. I've sown seeds here probably 5 different times trying to get carrots to germinate, and I just could not get it. And then finally they came up. So I'm really hoping that we get some good carrots. I was really impressed with my carrots last year. Last year I did the Danvers carrot, and this year I tried a different one. It's like the Imperator. I don't know how to say all the different varieties, but I'm trying a different carrot variety. So I'm hoping that I like it just as much, because I did really like the size of the Danvers that I had growing. So I think this one will be similar. So we'll see. And then next to the carrots, this is kind of just turned into a mess. This is lettuce, which at first was getting demolished by slugs. I could not pick them off fast enough, and I didn't really want to use any chemicals or pesticides or anything. So I've just been trying to hand pick them, and it wasn't successful. But then with the heat and then the cold again, it seems like they're doing pretty well. So I really have to come out here and harvest these lettuces pretty soon and start using them. The arugula bolted, went to seed. And I'm also struggling with the arugula because the leaves are so much bigger than I expected, and I don't know if that's my fault. Like if I let them grow too big, if I was supposed to harvest them when they're still really small, because I'm used to arugula like this size, but I'm getting mostly arugula this size. So I don't know, I don't see that on a plate ever. But anyway, yeah, it's going to seed, so I'm gonna have to kind of move this out of here and maybe try something else in this area. It was fun to try, it was fun to grow. We did snack on a few pieces here and there, but I don't know, with my first time growing arugula, I think maybe I should have harvested it a lot sooner and not let it get so big, but let me know if you know otherwise. And then back here, before we go too far, are my beets. So again, the slugs were trying to get to them, but I think they're doing all right. These were sown. I did start some seedlings inside that I brought out here, and I kid you not, maybe 2 days after I put them in this garden bed, we had like a hard freeze overnight and they died. So all that work to start beet seeds indoors for nothing, but that's okay. I was still able to sow some seeds here, and those ones were looking pretty good. I left them a little bit close because I wanted to try like having them grow multi-sown and next to each other, and then see like I can harvest one and let the other one grow a little bit bigger. So I'm gonna try that. I hope they're not too close where they just won't grow at all, but I'm gonna keep an eye on that and keep you posted. And then on the other side of the beets are a few heads of cabbage, which have really exploded in growth here. And I have this little kind of like fencing and netting wrapped around them because I had a lot of issues with cabbage moths on my broccoli last year and didn't get any broccoli at all. So I was kind of proactive here, and I'm hoping that that pays off. But I do also have a few cabbages here that again, through that hard frost, I thought were gonna die, so I just left them, and they actually made a comeback. So these ones will not be covered. We'll see the difference, maybe, you know, cabbage moth or not. We'll see if that helps. But just a few cabbages sprinkled here. And then, what the heck, a potato. I think there's a potato in there somewhere too, but potatoes, this bed was all potatoes last year, so it makes sense that I have a few volunteers. But you know, unfortunately, I put this cherry tomato plant right here, so I don't think those will get along very well. I'm hoping that the tomato plant will still grow, but I also wanted to leave the potato because it's a volunteer. Why not? Like, why not get a few potatoes? Especially because I didn't plant any potatoes this year, so I'm not gonna get a potato harvest. So if I can get like a little handful of potatoes, that would be pretty neat. So I left those there, and we'll see. I don't know. We'll see if that tomato still does well. This little pot right here is just some flowers. This is some larkspur, so I'm not sure how well it's doing, but hopefully that grows just as a little decor. And then I sprinkled some beans all through here. And this is where I started to mess up a little bit. I originally planned to have a trellis spot here, and I was going to do pole beans. I put my little trellis there, planted all these seeds, and then realized that I was planting bush bean seeds. So I ripped the trellis off and moved it to another place, you'll see in a second. And these are all gonna be bush beans. So plans change, whatever, I made a mistake, but they'll still probably do fine, and I'm excited to get some beans in general. So I think these are the dragon tongue bush beans and Kalima beans. I think that's what the varieties that I got, but just some seeds that I had left over from last year, and then a new packet. So trying something new, and we'll see how these beans do. And then the last little guy right here, I believe this is just a dahlia. It's either a dahlia or a zinnia. I can't remember, but one of those, and just a little flower to take up the corner. All right, this bed I had a hard time with in the beginning because I ran out of all of the like pine needle shavings that I had, and I went and grabbed a bunch of dead leaves and put them to mulch this bed. Then I had a bunch of slugs, so I thought it was from the leaves, but I had some slugs over here too, so it might not have even been the leaves, but I ripped them all out and just left it bare so that if there are slugs in them, they won't really have a nice, dark, cozy place to stay. So that's why this isn't mulched. But this is my tomatoes. This tomatoes and basil at the end. And then I kind of sprinkled again some beans everywhere. And this was still when I thought I was planting pole beans, but they're bush beans, so they're not going to grow up this pole, but whatever. I will see what happens with my beans this year. But these are all Roma tomatoes. So these are all determinate bush that I'm not going to prune at all. So I kept them separate from where I have my other tomatoes, just so I remember not to like aggressively prune these and just let them go. And then I have, you know, just some basil. And the basil really took a beating when I first planted it, but it seems like they're mostly coming back pretty well. So I am pretty excited that I'll have some basil, because for a second I thought I wouldn't. Some more beans. And then here I just have a line of spinach. I wasn't sure, again, you know, I planted this when it was still cold, but it had a really slow growing, you know, it just came up very slowly, so I wasn't sure if it really would. But it's here, so it's starting to grow. And I believe this is the red Malabar spinach, which I think might be a little bit more heat tolerant than the like spinach that just likes cold. So I don't know, we'll see, but we might get some spinach. And then this is just another cherry tomato that I forgot to make a spot for, so I threw them here. And I even made a rookie mistake and broke off the main stem. So it's gonna have to start growing from here, and hopefully that will become the main stem. I'm just gonna have to be patient with it and see if it wants to grow for me. But we do have some tomatoes starting to grow, so very excited about that. All right, so this bed is where I had the tomatoes last year. So these are all the poles that I used to stake up my tomatoes. And this year I'm using them to kind of do a Florida weave around my peas, cucumbers, and pole beans back there. But these peas are looking so cute. I have a couple here that I probably should harvest so that they don't get too big and make the plant stop growing more. But I've got a lot of little peas. Look at this little baby. Little tinies. So these are the dwarf peas. So you can tell the difference between how big these got. And these ones are still growing. They're like just now starting to put on flowers that'll turn into the peas. Oh, wait. Oh no, that's not a pea. Yeah. So they're just starting to get flowers now. So they're growing a lot taller than the dwarf ones, but still really cool to see. I'm hoping we get at least a good handful or two so that we can enjoy some snap peas just to snack on. But this is a first for me. I didn't grow any snap peas last year, so it's been really fun just to see how cute and little they start out. And the flowers are really pretty too before they turn into the pea. So yeah, really cool. Put some beans in between here as well as over there. And those beans are dry, like canning beans. I have like navy beans, kidney beans, garbanzo beans. So that's more of like a dry, I'm gonna let that grow and dry on the vine. So I'm not gonna touch those much. This is just my dill plant right here that's already growing really big. So excited to have some dill. A couple more basils and another dahlia slash zinnia slash whatever that is. I put some extra onions here as well as down that line right there. I had a lot of onions, so I wanted to make sure that I could just find some spaces for them. So that's where there's random onions. And then these two rows of poles are my cucumbers. So this front is a pickling cucumber. This back and it kind of goes over here too. So I'll do like twine between these 4. Those are my regular, I can't remember the kind now, but those were like the regular cucumbers that I grew last year. And then this right here is a like beta cucumber that's supposed to be like spineless. So I'm trying that one for the first time this year. So I did a couple here just to see if there's going to be a big difference between those ones. And then because those radishes were so spicy, I wanted to make sure that I planted some radishes here that were not spicy. So I did the like cherry bell or whatever seeds I had from last year. I planted some radishes there so that I can enjoy some too. And then right here is the pole beans. So I finally found my place where I could put some pole beans, as well as right there I put this, you know, wire square that I had, and I'm gonna hang down some twine to attach to the plants and let them grow up that. So a couple spots of pole beans. And then this trellis is a couple different varieties of cucumbers. I have on this side, it's a lemon cucumber. So it's going to be like a small, it looks like a little lemon, but it's a cucumber. And then on this side, with nothing has come up yet, I believe was my cucamelons. I think I got that the right way. It might be reversed, but cucamelons and lemon cucumber, just to try something fun. Again, I haven't done either of those before, but I thought they'd be fun to try. Then this is a zucchini. I believe I took pictures with the packets on the ground so that I wouldn't forget which one's which, but it'll be obvious once they start growing to see which one's which. I did an Italian striped zucchini and then just the plain zucchini that I had last year. So this is one of them, and then that's another one of them. So I've got 2 zucchinis. And then this hasn't come up yet, but this is a like patty pan squash, a different variety of a summer squash. So I'm excited to grow this one. I think it'll be really fun because they're cool shaped and they just, you know, bring something interesting that I haven't had before. So I'm excited for that to come up. Hopefully he comes up soon. And then right here, I have a volunteer onion from last year. I think these are bunching onions because I had a lot of like bulb onions up until here, and then the rest was bunching. And just by looking at it, I think it's a bunching onion, but they're starting to go to seed. So I thought it might be fun just to leave it and see if I can actually get some onion seeds from it. Not necessarily sure how that works, but I'm gonna try. So I let those go. And I think that's it for that bed. I know I have a lot of like empty space, but I figured that once everything starts growing and we'll see how big like the zucchini gets, I'll start filling in those spaces with something else too. Maybe more beans. All right, and then you know I was excited about this bed when I was dreaming of my garden indoors and planted all of those peppers. These are all my peppers, and then on the outside we've got some onions that are actually looking really good. I didn't have the best onion harvest last year, so I'm hoping that this year goes a little bit better for me. But there's like 4 different varieties of onions around the beds. And then for the peppers, I'm gonna see if I can remember this. So these 3 are mini bell peppers. These 3 are either like a yellow or a red. And then the other 3 are either yellow or red. And then these are the habanadas. So I'm kind of going like sweet to spicy. So habanadas or habaneros with no heat. Pimentos. Let me see what this one is. Oh, the natapino. So I think I only have one natapino right there. This might be a natapino too, actually. This is a violet, so it looks like a little, kind of a little bell pepper, but they turn purple. It's a peppercini. And then these ones are my habaneros. So yeah, those ones are the serranos. This one must be, oh, I think those are the, I have to go to the other side. Okay, so yeah, those tall ones are the serranos. These are the cayennes. So this one, I think might be another violet. I think there's two violets next to each other. I wasn't the best at labeling, which we'll see. No, that's not a violet, because it's, maybe this. You know, it's all just gonna be a guessing game. They're all gonna end up in the same place, most likely in a hot sauce or something, so we'll see. So those are the cayennes, and then these are all 6 of these are habaneros, or I'm sorry, are jalapenos, because my husband became obsessed with cowboy candy when I made it last year, so he requested a lot of jalapenos. So the 6 at the end are jalapenos. So that's all the peppers that I've got, and I'm very hopeful that we have a really great pepper harvest this year. We finally get to use this whole trellis area for a really good cause, all of our tomatoes. So these first 2 panels are Jersey Devils. So those are like a Roma variety, but they're indeterminate, so they will grow up. And then we start here. We have some money makers already starting to grow there. They're all looking pretty good. And then this one, let's see. This one I believe is, no, that one's the Arkansas Traveler. So this one is still a moneymaker. And then these ones are volunteers. They came up from last year. I did have one tomato plant here that, oh, I think another one right here. I put one tomato, I think I had an Arkansas Traveler here, so these might be Arkansas Travelers too. Put these here and just kind of let it go. So a tomato must have dropped and we got some volunteers, so I'm excited for that. So that's the Arkansas Traveler, and then these 2 right here are Centiflor. So they're like tiny cherry tomatoes that have like clusters of 40 tomatoes. So I'm excited to see how these do. And then the rest of them here are Mortgage Lifters. So those are like the big hearty beefsteak, like heirloom tomatoes. So there we go, my tomato wall. And then this is a new addition to the garden as well. So I've got these 3 wine barrels. I added some strawberries and they are looking so good. They even started fruiting. I got these from just like a fundraiser that my sister showed me. So I had them already started, which was so helpful because I just have not had luck with planting bare root strawberries and getting anything to come up. So I'm already feeling more excited just seeing that there's green and that there's strawberries growing. So this is very exciting to me. And then in the middle, I've got my sweet potato slips. So planted a few of these and just put this little trellis in there to hopefully help them grow up. So that's everything in the main garden bed area. Very excited about all of it. Like I said, I feel like everything is growing so fast, but there's still more. So these raspberries have really taken off and they're seeming like they're doing pretty good. I'm hopeful for fruit this year, especially look at this one. I think this one is starting to fruit. So we've got little buds. They're very pokey. So hopefully they fend for themselves and nothing comes to eat them, but super cute. So I'm really excited. Hopefully we get some nice raspberries this year. And then, of course, I have more peppers. This is my pepper graveyard. I did not know what to do with all these extra pepper plants. I gave so many away. I have some in pots still that I'll show you, but I had these left over and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give them a fighting chance. So I threw them in the ground here and we'll see what happens. Some of these, they're mostly like the habanadas and the nadapinos, kind of like the fun varieties that I didn't want to just throw away. And then these are mostly like hot. So serranos, cayennes, and maybe a peppercini. I'm not sure, but all the ones, we'll see what they turn into. And then this deck has just turned into a potted plant yard. So these are mostly flowers. I got some hollyhocks in here. I still have some larkspur that I need to put in the ground, as well as these sunflowers that are begging to get out of those little trays. I do have some cute petunias. Super cute. And then, like I said, these are all potted. Some extra pepper and tomato plants to give away to a couple of my family members. I got a lemon tree, so I'm hoping to grow a lemon or two. Probably not this year, but we'll see. It's been putting on a lot of new growth, so it's very exciting. Then I've got some herbs over here. I have oregano, thyme, and some parsley. My rosemary plant did not make it. This is my peach tree, which will be going in the ground pretty soon. And then these are some extra peppers. That's flowers. Oh, and look at my poppies. These poppies just bloomed and opened up a couple days ago. I get like a new one every day, so they've been super pretty. But yeah, these are, so a jalapeno, a pimento, habanero, violet, and that's the peach. And then this is a mini bell, so they'll just be little mini bell peppers. So these ones I'm just kind of letting go rogue. I was pretty diligent about taking off the first fruits of the ones in the raised bed just to see if they would grow bigger and fuller, more like before putting on fruit. But these ones, I'm just letting do their thing, and we'll see the difference and what happens and all that. But that's my kind of extra peppers again. And then my blueberry bushes are looking pretty good. I haven't seen any like blossoms or blooms or anything just yet, but I'm hopeful that something might happen this year. Last up, I have my little tower here. Mostly chives. See, it's starting to go to seed, so. Oh no, I'm gonna pull the whole thing out. Okay, I'll do that when I have two hands. But yeah, I put some chives here, and they've been doing, oh my god, I always call cilantro chives. It's cilantro. I have cilantro. Cilantro, cilantro. I don't know why I call them chives. They are nothing alike. So, I'm crazy. But then here I planted some extra dill and some extra basil. So we'll see if those come up, and just some random flowers. So that's it for now. That's what I have, and I'm very excited about it. I'm even more excited, I think, than last year, just because I have like an end in sight. Like I know what the harvest can look like, and I know what lessons I can learn and how like fun it is to watch all these things grow. So while last year was super exciting, I think this year is even better. But we'll see what happens. I'm super excited for all this stuff to possibly grow and give us some good food. But if it doesn't, still a lot of lessons to learn, and still watching things grow up, even at this stage, has just been really fun. So thanks for coming along in my garden. If you have any comments or you want to share anything that you think I should put in those empty spaces, let me know. Otherwise, we'll catch you on the next one.